So, dear students, today we are going to study in detail the filling of hard gelatin capsules. So, in which we are going to see which are the machines which are used to fill the hard gelatin capsules, how they are filled. These things we are going to discuss. Now, the machines which are used for filling of hard gelatin capsules in the pharmaceutical industry, they have certain few operations in common. So which are those operations which are common in the filling machines which are used for filling of any material into an hard gelatin capsules? So includes firstly the rectification of capsules, second separation of caps and bodies, third one is dosing of filling material, and fourth one is replacement of caps and ejection of filled capsule. So these are the four common operations which you can see into any capsule filling machine. Now from the next slide, you will come to know with the help of this schematic diagram that how the overall process of filling of a hard gelatin capsule cell takes place. Now these are the capsules which are supplied by the vendors. So you can find here the orientation of this capsule. It is not uniform. It is not in the same direction. So this capsule, they are passed to a channel, okay? After passing to a channel, a rectification is done. And in rectification, what happens? The body end will always be at the bottom. Which you will find that the bodies will be always at the bottom. So after rectification, the next step will be separation. So as the name itself says that there will be separation. So here the separation takes place of the body part and the cap part. And in the next step of filling, the material which you want to fill into the capsule cells, you are going to fill it. The machine, you are going to feed it, okay, into the body. And after filling, the next step is joining, where the caps will come and join to the body part. And later on, the discharge of the capsule is done. So this is the schematic process where the various operations which are involved in the filling of an hard gelatin capsules is shown over here. Now let's move. So I hope this the picture is very clear into your mind that what actually happens. Okay. So these are the four steps: 1, 2, 3, and 4 common operations which you are going to see into any capsule filling machine. Shall we move further?
Yes, sir.
So the first step is rectification. So as I told you when we were seeing the schematic diagram, here the MTZ capsules which we get, they are not oriented in the same direction. So after rectification, the orientation is done in so that all the capsules will be at the same direction. That is, the body end will be at the downward position. Here, in rectification step, in general, the capsule passes one at a time through a channel just wide enough to provide a frictional gap at the capsule end. And in the machines, we have a specialized design blade which pushes against the capsule and causes it to rotate. So this blade is responsible for rotating the capsule about its cap end, which acts as a fulcrum. And when it rotates, with the help of this specially designed blade, so that rotation will be of two punches. One will be a horizontal one, and second one will be vertical one, which is downwards. Now, when these capsules are subjected to do these two punches, the capsules will always be aligned in such a way that the body end will be downless, regardless whether the cap is going through the channel first or whether the body is going through the channel first. So this is about the first step, that is rectification, in which at the end of rectification, the all the capsules will be in the same directions, where the body part will be downwards. Now let's move to the next step or operation, we can say, that is the separation of caps from body. Now in the first step of rectification, the alignment of the body part is downwards. Now the process of separation of cap from body also depends on the difference in the diameter, which is between the cap and the body portion. Here the rectified capsules in the first step or in the first operations are delivered body end first into the upper portion of a split bushing or split filling ring. Now what happens over here is, now you want to separate the caps from the bodies. So what is done in the machine, we in the upper position we have a split bushing or split filling rings which are used for this purpose. So vacuum applied from below will pull the bodies downwards. So what we do, firstly the upper portion will be fit into the bushing. Now suppose, for example, if this is the capsule which I have, so this upper portion of cap, it will be into the split bushing or it will be into the split filling rings. And this lower portion, that is the body part, okay, what is done? Vacuum is applied and which pulls the body downwards in the lower portion of the split bushing. So the body part will be coming in the lower portion of the split bushing. The diameter of the cap is too large enough to allow them to follow the bodies into the lower bushing portion. So as the diameter of the cap is more, these caps will not come into the lower bushing portion where we have the bodies, which we have pulled them with the help of vacuum. The split bushings are then separated to expose the bodies for filling. So this split bushings will be separating the body part, and later on these body parts will be subjected to the filling. Now coming to the third operation, that is dosing of filling material. Now for filling of materials in capsules, various filling systems are used, and these systems utilize the technologies and principles which are used for dosing. Now what do you mean by dosing? Means whatever you want to fill into a hard gelatin capsule, okay, so you have to fill it into an appropriate, that is the optimum weight. So it can be API, other excipient also you are going to fill. So depending on the nature of the material which you are going to fill, okay, here various systems are used for this, and these systems utilize the technology and principles which are used for dosing. And capsule filling is occasionally also referred to as encapsulation. Now in dosing of filling material, hard capsules can be filled in several ways. Either they can be filled with the help of by manual way in the lab or in the pharmacy, which was carried out, this practice was carried out in older days, to the modern day automated industrial production. Although the capsule filling machines may vary widely in the design, means their engineering design, and the major difference between them is the dosing technique. In the later part of this lecture, we are going to see the dosing techniques which are used. Just for time being, just you keep in your mind that in dosing of filling material, what we do, whatever the material we want to fill in the form of dose, we are going to put into the body part. Now moving towards the next point. Now next step is replacement of the caps on the body. So the cap and the body bushing portions are rejoined. Whatever the bushings which we have discussed into the second step, where the upper bushing will be holding the cap and the lower bushing has the body. Okay. So with the vacuum, what we have done previously, we have pulled the body part downwards. Okay. And later on, we have filled the material into it. And now in this step, you will find that we have to replace the cap again. So the cap and the body bushing portions are rejoined in this step, and the pins are used to push the filled bodies up into the caps for closure, and also to push the closed capsule out of the bushing. And compressed airs can be used. Compressed air can also be used to eject the capsules. So here it's not only the replacement of caps, but also the ejection of the filled capsules takes place. So this is how the filling of a hard gelatin capsule takes place. Now coming to the next point, that is filling of hard capsule cells. Now specifically here we are talking that the third step, that is the dosing. What kind of material we can fill into the hard capsule cells. So the large range or large variety of drug materials can be filled, which includes dry solids, semi-solids, and even liquids can be filled into hard capsules depending on the physicochemical properties of the material which we are going to fill into the hard gelatin capsule. Before I proceed further, I hope my voice is clear to everyone and everyone can hear it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So the material to be filled, thanks for that. The material to be filled in the capsule must have certain properties. First one is it should be compatible with gelatin or the different cell component, whatever the component which you are going to use for the preparation of your cell. Then it should have low level of moisture. Mainly the free moisture level should be less into the material which you're going to fill into capsule. The dose, okay, the dose means specifically in terms of volumes, it should not be more than the size of the capsule. So we have studied the different size of capsules, and based on the dose which you're going to incorporate into the capsule, and specifically in terms of volume, it should not be more than that of the size of the capsule. Now the materials which reacts or interfere with the gelatin or other cell constituents should be avoided. Now specifically, I have taken an example over here of a material. For example, if you are using a material such as formaldehyde, which leads to the cross-linking in gelatin, and it makes the capsule insoluble. Okay, you should know certain kind of examples also, because see, whenever we go and develop a dosage form, we have to go and see the drug interaction, drug excipient in compatibility studies we have to carry out. So this is what. So we have to be careful when we use any material to be filled in hard gelatin capsules. So the materials which reacts or interfere with specifically with the gelatin, because gelatin is the main component by which we prepare the hard gelatin cell, or even the other components which are going to use into the cell. And just we have seen an example of formaldehyde, which can lead to cross-linking in gelatin. and making the capsules insoluble. Now the substance which have free water, these substances, they get absorbed by the gelatin or other materials which we use for gelatin cell preparation, that is HPMC. The another name is hapromolose, means in UK, that is United Kingdom. We call HPMC as hapromolose, which may cause the capsule to soften or even to deform. So the selection of the materials it has to be done very carefully. Now moving further, these are the various types of material or the nature of material which are used for filling into the hard gelatin capsule. So from dry solids, we have powders, pellets, granules, and tablets. From semi-solids, we have thermo-softening mixtures. Then we have, second one is thixotropic mixtures, and even paste can be filled into the hard gelatin capsules. And non-aqueous liquids are filled in hard gelatin capsule. So this is non-aqueous. No water molecule should be absorbed, because in the previous slide we have already discussed that when we have something which is aqueous in nature, it can soften or deform the capsule cell. So I hope this is clear to everyone that what type of materials goes into material we can fill into the hard gelatin capsule. Okay. Now, coming to the next point, where we are going to see regarding the capsule filling machine working principle. Now, this is very important part. Many a times, even though when I was a student, I found this point very confusing, that how the capsule filling machines working principle is there. So let's try to understand this in a proper way. So there are various steps or operations which occurs when we fill any material into a capsule cell, and specifically the hard capsule cell. So for that, firstly, we are going to need empty capsules. Now these empty capsules which we receive, we have to sort them and we go for orientation, that is rectification is done. Okay. Then the separation of cap and body part takes place. You know that. Okay. Then later on, you are going to go for dosing technique by using a suitable dosing system. You're going to put the material which you want to fill into the body of the capsule. Then the wasted capsules are eliminated. And once you fill it in the material, then the recapping takes place, as well as the locking takes place. And with the help of outhold, you're going to discharge the capsules, the filled capsules, and later on you'll go for surface cleaning. So this is a schematic flow which occurs in a capsule filling machine, which will give an working principle idea. Now let's talk about the methods. So this point is very, very important. That is the methods of filling powders. Now the methods which are used for filling of powders into hard gelatin capsules, the another name for this, it is called as dosing systems. The third operation which we have already discussed. Now these dosing systems, they include techniques which are used for filling powders in the hard gelatin capsules. Or simply we can say the techniques which are used for filling the powders into the hard gelatin capsules, they are known as dosing systems. Now the methods for filling powders, that is the dosing system, into the hard gelatin capsules, they are mainly grouped into two main systems, which are as follows. So there are two systems. I'm telling you the classification for the dosing systems. So the first system name is dependent dosing systems. And second one is independent dosing system. So these are the two main types of systems which are used for dosing. The first one is dependent dosing system and second one is independent dosing system. So I hope up to this point it is clear to everyone. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Now let's see this both the systems one by one in detail. Now the first system, as I told you, it is dependent dosing system. Now the dependent dosing system are those methods which use the capsule body directly to measure the powder. Now why they are called as dependent? Because here it depends on the capsule body. Now this is the body, we can say. Okay. Now in this dependent dosing system, whatever the method which you employ for this under this dependent dosing system, they uses the capsule body directly to measure the powder. So whatever the powder which you are going to put into this, okay, so it depends on the capsule body. And the uniformity of weight can only be achieved if the capsule is filled completely. And the example of dependent dosing system is Agar filling system, AUGER. The point here we have to depend why it is called as dependent, because it is dependent on the capsule body, which will directly measure the powder. And the uniformity of the weight which you are going to fill into the capsule can only be achieved when it is completely filled. And the example of dependent dosing system is Agar filling system. Now let's talk about Agar filling system in detail. Now this Agar filling system uses a Agar device which is located into a powder hopper. So what is used over here? We use a Agar device which is located into the hopper. The material is transferred continuously into the bodies of the cap by the movement of the rotating agar in combination with the stirrer. You will get more understanding when you're going to look at this schematic diagram, which talks about the mechanism of filling in the agar filling system. So as I told you previously, we have a agar device which is located into the hopper. So this is the hopper. This whole thing is hopper. Fine. Then you can see over here the whole thing which is shown over here. We have a single line which is shown over here. Okay. Then we have a small circular dish like portions over here. So this is the agar feed mechanism which has been used over here. And apart from that, we also have a stirrer over here. Now what happens? The material which you want to fill into the capsule body, it will be put into this hopper. Okay, so you can see this material which is shown here with the help of small circular tiny. So it is as it is filled over here. So what will happen? The material will be continuously transferred into the body. So this material is continuously transferred into the capsule body by the movement of the rotating agar. So this agar is rotating, okay, with combination with the stirrer. So this is how the filling of material is done with the help of agar filling system. And apart from that, later on we have pickup ring for capsule body. It is present in this area. So this is all about the first system, that is agar filling system mechanism. Now let's see in detail the whole structure. Okay. Now it talks about the schematic diagram of the agar filling system, where we are specifically talking about a model number 8. So you can find over here, the alphabets number is given over here. Means we have named this diagram. Means A means it is powder hopper. So this is the hopper from where we are, the material which we want to fill, it will be put into this hopper. Now B is stirrer. Now here we have a stirrer. Now C is agar. You can see this. This is the agar system. Just like which we have into a drilling machine or in the screw. So this system is there, that is agar, which is shown over here. Okay. And the D part, this D part, it is the body ring holder. So you can find here the bodies of the capsules are placed beneath the hopper, where above which we have the arrangement of auger mechanism, the auger system which we are going to use. And then we have turntable. This is the turntable. Okay. And this is how we have caps and bodies, which are shown here with the help of a schematic diagram. So I hope you may have got a clear idea how the agar filling system looks. Okay. Now let's talk more about the design of this agar filling system. Now the first successful industrial filling machine, that is the model number 8, which we just discussed with the help of schematic diagram of model number 8, was designed by an American doyen of an pharmaceutical, who was a pharmaceutical engineer, and his name was Arthur Colton. Now in this agar filling systems, the quantity of powder delivered is dependent on, firstly, the speed of revolution. Secondly, the design of agar system. This is the first part. It is dependent on the speed of revolution which you are going to use for the design, for the speed at which you are going to rotate the agar system, as well as the design of the agar. Then the quantity of powder in the hopper, and also the time for which the body is under the hopper. To obtain the best uniformity of weight fill, it is necessary to fill the body as completely as possible. Now these machines are semi-automatic in nature, and it requires the person to transport the capsules from one operation to another. Now in the olden days, the machine parts were made of iron cast, but now in the modern era, the modern machines are made of stainless steel, specialized grade, that is 316 grade, which is non-corrosive in nature, and which are compliant with the GMP, that is the good manufacturing practices. And the output of the machines, these machines, it varies from 1,000, that is 15,000 to 25,000 capsules per hour, and it mainly depends also on the operator's skill. So this is all about the agar filling systems. Now moving towards the second type. Now first we have seen the dependent dosing system, and we have seen in detail regarding the agar filling system. Now coming to the second major type of system, that is the independent dosing systems. Now what happens in independent dosing system is that these systems are the methods where the powder is measured independently of the body. So here we are not going to measure the powder into the body. Okay. So it is totally independent of the body, And here we make a use of a specialized measuring device. Hence the name is given as independent dosing system. Clear? So I repeat again. Now whatever the dosing systems from the category of independent dosing systems, whatever the method which you are going to use, these methods, they are using a principle where the powder is measured independently of the body in a special measuring device. And the weight uniformity is not dependent on the filling of the body completely, as that in the agar filling system, that is the dependent filling system. And with these systems, the capsules can be partly filled. There is no need to fill them completely. And the most industrial machines which are used today are fully automatic and use dosing mechanism that form a plug of powder. Now this word is very important, that is plug of powders. Now whatever the machines which comes under the category of independent dosing systems, nowadays these modern machines, they use a dosing mechanism that forms a plug of powder. So let's see what do you mean by plug of powders. Now plug of powders means a soft, compact form at a low compression between 10 to 100 newtons, which are less as compared to those used in tableting. So they are very soft, compact. So tablet is an compact dosage form, but this, when you talk about plug of powders, they are compressed at a very low compression strength, okay, which are very less compact as compared to that of the compacts which we get after tableting. This prepared plug should be soft and it is not the final dosage form. Okay. Unlike the tablet dosage form, and also the material, that is the plug, will be enclosed into the capsule cell. And there are two types of plug forming machines, which includes those that make use of dosator system and those that make use of tampering finger and dosing this system. So we can have this plug of powder prepared by two types of machine. First one is dosator system and second one is those who make use of tampering finger and dosing this system. Now let's talk about the first one, that is the dosator system, which is used for preparation of plug of powder. Now this dosator system or dosators is the most widely used systems nowadays, and this system is used in the machines as it is fully automated machines are available for this category. Now this dosators, it consists of a dosing tube inside which there is a spring-loaded pistons. They have a dosing tube into which a spring-loaded pistons are present, and the internal volume of the tube is changed by the movable piston. The open end of the tube is lowered into the powder bed. The material rises up into the tube to form a plug of powders. Now try to understand over here what we are going to form over here, a plug of powder. Okay. Now the open end of the tube, that is the dosing tube, is lowered into the powder bed where the material will rise up in the tube to form a bulk of powder. And this can be consolidated further by applying pressure. And this assembly is then raised and positioned over the capsule body. So in the next slide, when you are going to see the schematic diagram, the things will be more clear to you. The field weight can be varied by adjusting the height of the piston inside the dosing tube and the depth of the powder into the powder bed. This machine is versatile in that the field weight can be altered over a wide range of value without changing the mechanical path. Now from this schematic diagram, this will be more clear to you. So this is the diagram of a dosator or dosing tube system. Now, as we have discussed that we have a dosing tube system present over here, and this is a machine which is of Zanazi RM63. Now you can see the various components of this dosator system. So A is the compression force platen. Now we need a small compression force so that a soft compact of plug of powder is prepared. So for that, compression force platen is required. So this is the compression force platen. Then B is piston. So piston is there. So you have a piston which is placed over here. Okay, you will find that it moves ups and down. And the most important part, that is the C, that is dosing tube. So this is the dosing tube. You can find this is the tube over here. Then D is the powder hopper in which we have a powder. Then G is the powder plug which will be formed over here, which is shown over here. So this is the plug which is formed over here. At point E, so as it rotates, so this will be formed over here, then it will come over here. Now this F will be now this is where you have a plug which is already formed, which is shown over here by alphabet A, F, that is the capsule body in bush, which is over here. And this plug will be coming in later on into this portion, that is the capsule body, which is there present in the bush. Okay. Now you can see over here. Here the position is upward of the piston, and later on when it moves from here to here, so when it will rotate fully over here, so in the next step what will happen, this plug will be coming into the body, capsule body. So I hope you people have understood this. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me just talk about these two machines. Okay, then the remaining part we'll be seeing tomorrow. So from the dosator systems, okay, the examples of machines includes firstly the intermediate motion systems, where we have a category, we have a machine that is a company named called as Zanazi. We have seen one model of this. Then we use other machines from the different companies. For example, Pedini. Then we have Markofar, and then Mona Pace. These are the machines. These are the companies which have a intermediate motion dosator systems. And the range of these machines will be, with the production capacity of the capsules will be 5,000 to 60,000 per hour. And then the second type is of the continuous motion, where we have companies such as MG2 and Matic, that is also called as IMA. And the range for this machine is from 30,000 tablets to 1,050 capsules per hour. So from 30,000 capsules to 1,050 capsules per hour can be prepared by the continuous motion machines such as MG2 and Matic. So with this, we'll stop over here for the day, and the remaining part we'll be discussing further.